Hey there everybody, welcome back to the 12th and final episode review vlog of Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuX. So welcome into the final thing. I kind of made it pretty apparent last week that this show wasn't my favorite thing in the world, and I'm going to say unfortunately episode 12 didn't really change my opinion on that. It kind of solidified my thoughts that this show is pretty middle of the road. I would say, like, if I had to give it a letter grade, maybe a C or a C minus. You know, it's not the worst show I've ever seen. It's not the worst Gundam show I've ever seen. I would rate, I don't like rating things like this arbitrarily, but I'm going to do it anyway. I would rate Victory Gundam lower than this. I would rate Reconquista in G lower than this. I would say I liked it less than I like Gundam Wing. I would rather rewatch Gundam Wing again than rewatch GQuuuuuX, even though Wing is 50 episodes. And I'm kind of notorious for not really loving Wing that much. I think people sometimes blow out of proportion that, like, I hate Gundam Wing. I don't. It's just I have no nostalgia for it, and it's a little dated, but it's a good show. This show, yeah, right in the middle of the road. So let's get into what actually happened in this episode. We open with no intro because the fight is just too intense. Xavier and Shalia Bull are still duking it out. I like Xavier's slick decoy move he pulled with his lance, but he's still the underdog. Shalia has like end of Zeta Camille levels of new type skill here, so it's really not much of a competition. Char being on the Yamagantho development team actually pays off, as its true purpose is to open a gate to the other side, and Char just wants to send Lala back to her original timeline. Shuji pulls the Gundam RX-78 through the portal, and I kind of wonder how it's gonna hold up against the new mobile suits. Like, don't even consider the fact that, like, the GQuuuuuX and the Red Gundam took the place of the RX-78 in this timeline, and the GQuuuuuX is a way more highly developed suit than that, with like the Omega Psychommu. So I really don't know how the RX-78 is supposed to like even put up a little bit of a fight. Machu asks Shuji why he wants to destroy Lala, because he was said to have feelings for her while they float around in this Kira zone, and he shows her images from the other side, which are just some clips of the original Gundam show, which is always fun to see. You gotta love that 70s art style. So I guess I was right in the fact that this Lala is not from the original Gundam show. They show the Gundam show, but like the events are a little bit different. They actually reanimate the fight between Amuro in his RX-78 and Char in his Red Gelgoog, and it looks really good. They didn't even use 3D models. I kind of would rather have just had this than what GQuuuuuX actually ended up being, unfortunately. Instead of the Elmith taking the hit that kills Lala, Char actually blocks it with his Gelgoog and dies in an explosion that causes Lala to snap and trigger the Elmith Psychommu so hard that it created another universe where Char lives. Also, I said it's Amuro piloting the RX-78, but I guess I don't have any proof that it actually is him, because you don't even get like any voice acting or any like cockpit reaction shots. It's just kind of silent, and it really makes me think, like, did they like put in the contract not to do Amuro, like not to mention him at all? Was that like part of the deal with working on the show? Because I know his voice actor got in like some legal trouble or something recently. I can't remember the exact details, but I don't know. It's so weird that they like reanimate this fight, and like they like make it a point to not name drop Amuro at all, or show him even a little bit. It just comes off as really, really strange, especially since they're going to such great lengths to like have every plot point in the past like 6 episodes be a reference to something in the original show, but then not show Amuro at all. It's just a weirdly deliberate thing they did, and it makes me wonder about things behind the scenes. Shuji explains that Lala has done this over and over, and Char eventually always dies in a fight with the White Gundam, causing the world to collapse. Shuji claims that Char rejecting Lala will cause her such despair that both worlds on either side of the portal will collapse in on themselves, so he has to kill her before that can happen. Kycilia shows up after sealing up her gunshot wounds and shoots at them with her battleship. She's still determined to kill everyone on Earth and yells at Char about it. Shalia also shows up, sees the RX-78 and is like, I get the feeling that thing has killed me before. I don't know, man, that's a bad omen. You should probably just leave. But instead, he shoots at Kycilia's ship, and then Char shows up in the Red Gundam and blows up Kycilia with a bazooka and an almost exact recreation of her death scene in the original show. I clapped like a circus seal and jumped up and down, pointing and shouting, I remember that! Machu decides that none of this is actually what Lala would probably want, and decides to fight Shuji. Nyan realizes they're fighting, and she finally shows up with the Gundam Fred to stop them. Machu asks Nyan to help her stop Shuji, and she agrees because she's never felt like she's had anywhere to go, but now she does, because she's friends with Machu once again. Man, Nyan's character arc needed so much more time to be effective. It feels like she just unhealthily attaches herself to whoever gives her any attention, and it's kind of a far cry from that street smart kid from the start of the series. Nyan and Machu go at Shuji, who's holding them both off with relative ease considering the fossil that he's piloting. Meanwhile, Shalia Bull doesn't want Char to become the new leader of Zeon. He fears Char will go down the same path the Zombies did and try to destroy the Earth. Char asks if Shalia can see the future, and I think that's obviously supposed to be a nod to what happens in Char's counterattack, but would that even happen now without Char's experiences during the Grips War happening? I guess it's just a foregone conclusion that Char will eventually go nuts, but the Char from CCA is a character shaped by a ton of experiences that this Char would never have. I'm probably thinking too hard about it. Shuji eventually gets tired of fighting Nyan and Machu, so he activates his super new type powers, which make his Gundam grow really big. The gray and white color scheme is a neat reference to the RX-78's original design colors, but this is some My Gundam Academia bullshit. And I really like the Bonkers Gundam fights from Build Fighters and Try, but this is pretty weird. I think it's just because, like, tonally, this is very strange for this show. Like, I know there's been a lot of new type magic, but it's been fairly grounded with, like, the actual nuts and bolts mechs. But they even remark that Shuji's actually not using, like, a hologram or anything. He's actually able to use his new type powers to expand the RX-78's mass. So he's just breaking the laws of physics really, really hard. And that's, I don't know, it just kind of took me out of the moment. I guess rule of cool, but Gundam feels strange as a rule of cool series. And maybe I should stop thinking about Gundam in that way, but I really don't want to. Nyan gets blown up, but it's okay. She escapes in the core fighter. Machu blocks a big stab with her Omega Psychomu shield, and then through the power of friendship is able to power up and cut off the RX-78's head. It's pretty much what happens at the end of Soul Eater. At least she got to hold hands with the GQuuuuuX's, like, little cockpit hand things. They came back. I like those. I like that the mech can give you a hug. During this, she talks to Shuji in the Kira Kira and eventually convinces him that he's wrong, and he's like, oh wow, you're right, I love you. And then they kiss. It's fine, I guess. Shuji never really grew on me at all, and the revelation that he's a dimension-hopping super new type constantly chasing down Lala didn't really help. I don't know if I love Machu's, like, speech that she gives Shuji to convince him to not try to destroy the entire universe. It just feels a little tropey, and it's not where I really wanted the series to go. But I guess it's okay for what it is. This causes the Lala inside the Elmeth to trigger a Zek Nova that pops her and Shuji back to the other side. We then skip ahead a little bit to see how characters are faring. I will say I do like that Char eventually did go to meet Lala. Out of everything, seeing Lala happy at the end was really nice. Machu and Nyan are now hanging out on a beach on Earth. and Banchu reveals that the GQuuuuuuX told her they would meet again, and her ultimate goal is to make it to the other side to see Shuji, which I really highly doubt. I would be very surprised if this show got another season or a sequel. Overall, this series does have a lot of good things in it. Some of the designs are good, and it is interesting to see some of the weird redesign mashups like the Gelgoog GM. I actually would have liked it a lot more if the show did more of that and less, having entire plot points hinge on the original show and being a weird multiverse thing. While 3D animation isn't my favorite thing in the world, at the very least, GQuuuuuuX is very smooth, and they do a lot of interesting things with the fights, and the fights are a big high point in the series, unless you really hate how shonen they get, because as the series goes on, they get a little bit preposterous. The music is also really good, just in general, the atmosphere as well. I really like how much of a variety of music there is in this show, and also I really enjoyed whenever they would actually use music from the original TV show back from 1979. That was really a treat to hear that soundtrack again. And if they were going to bring anything back from the original show, something like that is something I really don't mind. But overall, I think the elephant in the room is that this show just feels really rushed. You spend 2 episodes on a flashback to differences between the original Gundam show and this show that, honestly, if they just ripped those out and told you to go watch a movie and gave the actual story of the show 2 more episodes, I think it would have served this series way better to do that. But as it stands, you then sort of have the first half of the series focusing on the clan battles and developing some of the characters like the Pomeranians that really don't need to be there very much because they get a little bit too much focus and just disappear after like episode 7. And also spending like entire episodes on the Unicum from the Federation, the Witch. And then a couple of the episodes are just like, wow, look at that thing. Like the episode with Do and the Psycho Gundam really doesn't go anywhere. I guess it introduces Caecilia, but overall that assassination plot is kind of weird when you even think about it. Like, why would they try to like crush her with the Psycho Gundam instead of just like shoot her while she's on the roof with a sniper rifle? That would have been way easier. And of course, like I've said a million times, I don't like timeline shenanigans and multiversal stuff. So when that stuff was introduced into the show, it kind of fried my brain a little bit, and it was harder to care about the actual storyline because I just really don't gel well with those elements. And maybe if you do, then this was a really neat experience, and I hope it was. But for someone like me that doesn't like that type of storytelling stuff and has seen more than enough of it in this day and age, I was not happy to see the storyline go that way. So all in all, I think this is a very interesting experiment from Studio Khara. It is definitely not what I thought that it would be, and I don't think that there will ever be a Gundam show ever like this ever again. So that's one thing that you can probably say about it. If you guys like this series, drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe if you want. Of course, I mostly do retrospectives and the like. The brain-powered retrospective is on the way. I explained on the gaming channel why a couple of videos took a backseat just due to some personal reasons, but I have still been working on it, and it's quite long, and that show's fucking weird, so it gets kind of in-depth, and there are a lot of questions to ask about the writing, so I hope you guys will enjoy that. So that will be out soon. Also, if you like video games, you can head over to the gaming channel, which is linked on the main channel page and also will be linked in the description of this video, and that is just a Let's Play channel where we've been playing through Mass Effect 3, Ape Escape, the Oblivion Remaster. I've neglected it a little bit this past like month and a half-ish, but I'm ready to get back on my game, I think, and I'm almost done with Mass Effect 3, so actually being done with the whole Mass Effect series feels like a weight being lifted off my shoulders at this point, so that's really nice. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you watched this far into the video, I appreciate you very much, and I will see you all again very soon.